Okay. Now, sorry for late due to problem of light and connection problem. Today's topic is hemochromatosis. This is hereditary disorders in which there is increased absorption of iron from intestine and then it is deposited throughout the body. So gene responsible for this increased absorption of iron is called HFE. So this is genetic disorder and it is detected by this genetic analysis. Now, when increase, what are the clinical features? Age usually occurs in middle age. Males, female it occurs after 10 years because there is protection in female due to increased loss of iron in menstrual blood. So in female it occurs 10 years later than the male, while it is more common in the male. Now when iron is stored, so there will be dysfunction of multiple organs. Now what are the organs where iron is stored? Most important organ is liver, then pancreas, skin, heart, and endocrine organs. So clinical features will depend on the which organ is dysfunctional. For example, when liver is affected, patient will present with cirrhosis. And if once patient has developed cirrhosis, then one third of these patients will develop one third of these cirrhotic patients will develop hepatocellular carcinoma. And that is the cause of death in hemochromatosis. Cause of death in hemochromatosis is hepatocellular carcinoma. It occurs after the liver becomes cirrhotic. Now, second clinical feature, patient may present with diabetes. When iron is deposited in pancreas, so there will be destruction of these pancreatic cells, islets of Langerhans. So there will be decreased insulin and patient will develop diabetes. Third feature will be is pigmentation. There is generalized slate grade pigmentation. This pigmentation occurs due to increased melanin production and due to increased iron deposition. When diabetic patient has this skin pigmentation, so that is called the bronze diabetes. Another name of this hemochromatosis is bronze diabetes. Bronze means this black color pigmentation of skin. When iron is deposited in the heart, patient will develop cardiac failure. On examination, you will find massive cardiomegaly. It resembles this idiopathic cardiomyopathy. This there is massive enlargement and patient will usually present with features of cardiac failure as well as arrhythmia. Next organ affected is endocrine. When iron is deposited in pituitary gland or hypothalamus, then there will be sexual dysfunction. In males, it will present as loss of libido, impotency, testicular atrophy, while in female, it will present as amenorrhea. While in both sexes, there may be loss of hairs. So these are the sexual dysfunction due to pituitary dysfunction. Next presentation is arthritis. Iron is also deposited in the joint. So earliest feature will be second and third metacarpophalangeal joints. This is a unique feature of this disease. So second and third metacarpophalangeal joints are early affected, then others, big joint, wrist, knee, hip may be affected. So this point differentiates this from other idiopathic arthritis. Now, what are the investigations? So ferritin is raised, but you also keep in mind that ferritin is also increased in other inflammatory disorders. Second is transferrin saturation increase. It is more than 45%. Normally it is less than 45%, and then in this disease transferrin is fully saturated with iron and level is more than 45%. Then genotyping, if these are two screening tests, if these two tests are positive, then genotyping is advised and to detect this mutation. Liver biopsy is also indicated to know the iron content of the liver. So normally liver contains 1000 microgram per kilogram dry weight. So in hemochromatosis, it is more than 1000 microgram per kilogram dry weight. Then imaging in which we advise X-ray of the joints and MRI of the liver and heart. X-ray will show, especially early stage of hands, there will be damage to the cartilage and joint space will be narrowed and there may be osteophyte formation. In the MRI is also a good way to detect the iron load in the liver and heart. So it is better than the CT scanning. Now treatment. Weekly venesection means phlebotomy, means blood is removed from the patient weekly. How much? 500 ml blood is removed. And that will remove 250 milligram iron. 1 pint of blood contains 500 ml, and if that is removed, that will remove iron 250 milligram. And treatment is forever. Treatment is continued forever, and we will monitor this disease by serum ferritin level. It should be kept below 100 microgram per liter. If patient cannot tolerate this blood venesection, then another option is bisferoxamine, and that is usually given subcutaneously BD. Now, what are the complications of hemochromatosis? I already discussed. Most important complication is hepatocellular carcinoma. This ACL is wrong. Hepatocellular carcinoma. If hemochromatosis occurs, then patient will develop cirrhosis, and once cirrhosis is present, then one third of these cirrhotic patients will develop hepatocellular carcinoma. So that is the main indication of liver transplantation. Second, what is secondary hemochromatosis? In secondary hemochromatosis, that was primary. This is the secondary. Secondary clinical features will be same. Only difference is of the cause. In which secondary hemochromatosis, there may be increased iron intake. Some persons taking a large amount of iron in the diet, or there is rapid blood transfusion, or iron preparation, injectable iron preparation, or there is uh, abnormality in blood forming, for example, thalassemia or sideroblastic anemia, in which blood is formed but that is ineffective. So there will be increased iron load in the body. So genetic analysis, if there is mutation, then that is not necessary that patient will develop hemochromatosis. That is different from Wilson disease. In Wilson disease, if there is mutation, then there is 100% penetration. That means patient will definitely develop disease. While in this case, 50% will develop. That is variable number. Second topic is jaundice in pregnancy. So most important cause of jaundice in pregnancy are hepatitis. Number two, intrahepatic cholestasis of pregnancy. Third is acute fatty liver of pregnancy. These are most important cause. First of all, hepatitis. So hepatitis B is common. So if mother is having hepatitis B and if she is hepatitis B E antigen positive, then there is 90% chances to transmit the disease to fetus. This is called the vertical transmission. So newborn should be immediately given immunoglobulin and she should be vaccinated. Neonate should be vaccinated by this vaccine. This commonest is the Injirix. Injirix. So dose at 0 at birth, then at 1 month, 2 months, and 12 months. So then he will be protected. And mother should receive the antiviral drugs after delivery. Now suppose mother is having hepatitis C, then she can also transmit the disease to children, to newborns. 8% chance. In this case, there are chances are 8%. And after delivery, these units should be checked for the viral hepatitis C PCR and antibodies. Antibodies take 6 months to 1 year to develop. So PCR is preferable, that will give immediate result. And if hepatitis C PCR is positive, then treatment should be given to the fetus. Third commonest hepatitis is, which is common in pregnancy, is hepatitis E. That can occur other people, but that is self-limiting. But when hepatitis E occurs in pregnancy, it can present with acute fulminant hepatitis and there is 20% mortality rate, though there is no any specific treatment of this disease. Second is the intrahepatic cholestasis of pregnancy. That usually occurs in third trimester of pregnancy. Patient usually complains of pruritus, means itching. Investigation shows increased alkaline phosphatase. AGPT is around 300 units per liter, and bilirubin is raised, but it is less than 6 milligram. Then ultrasound is needed to rule out this cholesterol, this stone in biliary tract. because stone in the biliary tract can present with similar features. Another investigation is bile acids are increased many-fold, 30 to 100-fold or increased, and these are responsible for the itching. So, what is the treatment? Medical treatment is ursodeoxycholic acid, 250 milligram BD, and vitamin K should also be given before delivery because there is deficiency of vitamin K. When there is cholestasis, then there will be reduced absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. That's why vitamin K is also indicated. Now, another most important cause is the acute fatty liver of pregnancy. This is common disease. It can present with abdomen pain. It can present with vomiting. It can present with polyuria or polydipsia. Polydipsia means increased thirst, or patient may go in coma, encephalopathy. On investigation, you will find that there is very much increased bilirubin, more than 6. SGPT is also raised, ammonia is also raised, blood CP shows leukocytosis, blood glucose is severely decreased, serum creatine may be raised, uric acid is increased, PT and APTT are increased. Ultrasound will show this bright liver. And if biopsy is not usually done, but if biopsy is done, then it will show microvesicular steatosis. So out of these 6 features are present, out of these 14 features, then highly likelihood of acute fatty liver of pregnancy. Now, treatment of acute fatty liver of pregnancy is termination of pregnancy. So, you have to diagnose correctly because patient of hepatitis may be unconscious. So, you have to differentiate acute fatty liver of pregnancy from fulminant hepatitis. Fulminant hepatitis means liver is already normal, then patient becomes unconscious due to acute liver failure, for example, in hepatitis B or any other cause. So you have to differentiate acute fatty liver pregnancy from fulminant hepatitis. So what are these points or difference? Fatty liver pregnancy versus fulminant hepatitis. Now trimester, fatty liver of pregnancy usually occurs in the third trimester, while fulminant hepatitis can occur in any trimester. Second, viral marker, for example, viral hepatitis A, hepatitis B, C, E. So you have to detect this antigen or antibodies. There are different serum markers. They will help to diagnose viral cause. And these are absent in fatty liver of pregnancy, while these are present in the acute fulminant hepatitis. That depends on the cause, which cause, hepatitis A, B, C, E. Third difference is bilirubin. Patient in fatty liver of pregnancy is deeply jaundiced, and bilirubin is always more than 6. It is it is more than 6 means more. It may be 7, 8, 9, 10, not less than 6. While in acute fulminant hepatitis, that is variable. That depends on the stage of the disease. Alkaline phosphatase is also very much raised as compared to fulminant hepatitis. Second, uric acid raised in fatty liver of pregnancy, while it remains normal in fulminant hepatitis. So uric acid is also increased in preeclampsia and it is also increased in fatty liver of pregnancy. Treatment is delivery. Delivery is the treatment. So you have to diagnose it correctly because very difficult decision. While in case of acute fulminant hepatitis, there is no any benefit of termination of pregnancy. Only conservative treatment is needed. Now, second differential diagnosis is HELP. You have to differentiate fatty liver of pregnancy from HELP. Now, what is HELP? Hemolysis, elevated liver enzyme, and low platelet. That is variant of preeclampsia. Now, what is the difference between these two? Number one, bilirubin is increased, as I have just said. It is more than 6 milligram, while in HELP syndrome, bilirubin is less than 6 milligram. And second important feature is hemolysis in the HELP syndrome. This is wrong. Hemolysis occurs in HELP syndrome. This is wrong. Written, sorry. Present in fatty liver, it will be absent, while in the HELP syndrome will be present. So how patient will present when there is hemolysis? For example, in hemolytic anemia, so LDH will be raised and there will be RBC broken. If you see peripheral smear, you will find broken RBC. These are called schistocytes. And third point is the hypoglycemia. Severe hypoglycemia is a feature of fatty liver pregnancy, while it is rare in the HELP syndrome. Now, abnormal LFT. So when we advise LFT, LFT usually shows three things: bilirubin, SGPT, and alkaline phosphatase. So bilirubin may be raised in hemolytic anemia. It may be congenital disease, for example, Gilbert syndrome. In hemolytic anemia, it is not increased more than 5 milligram. It is always less than 5 milligram. So bilirubin, importance of bilirubin is that it increases the severity of the disease. Higher the serum bilirubin level, more severe the liver disease. Second is the ACPT. ACPT, these enzymes uh, are released, so it does not show prognosis. Sometimes 4,000 ACPT patient will recover, so it does not show prognosis. So very much high ACPT, more than 1,000. Most important causes are viral hepatitis, ischemia of liver, for example, shock. If patient goes shock, then there will be decreased blood flow to the liver, and there will be necrosis of liver, and their ACPT may be very much raised. And third cause of is very much increased ACPT is these toxins or certain drugs. For example, drugs INH or toxin paracetamol poisoning. So these can cause very much increased ACPT. So normally ACPT is ALT means ACPT, AST means AST. So normally ACPT is raised than SGOT normally in viral hepatitis. But if you find AST more than ALT, that indicates that chronic hepatitis is change in cirrhosis or it also indicates alcohol. Alcohol person is taking alcohol. So alcohol and cirrhosis are common cause of this increased AST to ALT ratio. Third most important parameter things to note in the ALT is alkaline phosphatase. So less than 3 times elevation can occur due to any liver disease. That's not specific. For example, viral hepatitis or can, but for more than 4 times increase in alkaline phosphatase shows cholestasis. That may be intrahepatic or extrahepatic cholestasis. Alkaline phosphatase Increased alkaline phosphatase causes liver disease, but there are also other causes. For example, alkaline phosphatase is also produced by the bones and as well as placenta. So, in bone, for example, in children or adolescents, when there is increased rapid growth of the bone, so you will find increased alkaline phosphatase without any liver disease. And it is a increased alkaline phosphatase is common feature during pregnancy. And other bone disease would cause this increased alkaline phosphatase or this osteomalacia and Paget's disease. Now question is how to differentiate this alkaline phosphatase is due to liver disease are due to whether it is due to liver disease or extrahepatic cause, for example, from the bone or any other. Then we advise GGT, gamma glutamyl transpeptidase. If that is increased along with alkaline phosphatase, that means this alkaline phosphatase source is liver. And other source, extrahepatic, for example, bone or placenta, then GGT will not be raised. Now, that is all for today.